So anyone managed to fix that sticky header?
Yeah.
Who? You? Okay. So let's help me to do that. Probably I can copy paste your code here. So what I need to do here to make it sticky?
To fix the position as fixed.
First, how many managed to do that? You. Super X. I don't have to. I don't need to explain that much, right? But if you don't know get things, please raise your voice. Okay. So yeah, Anas, can you help me? What should I do? Quickly, very quick.
To put the position as fixed for
Where?
the nav bar.
Should I do something in the neighbor class? So can you see the screen from there? Read the code. Perfect. So I should do something in the neighbor. Right? What should I do?
Position fixed.
Position fixed. Right? Anything else?
For the body, it has to be absolute.
It breaks, right? So probably I need to do something with
100.
With 100%, and then like that.
And the last thing for the body, need to.
And then I can see here some space. How can I remove this space?
I fixed it by adding position absolute for.
Probably it's a simple trick. Top. What's 0? Okay, but it's not. You see, still I don't see. If I remove this tree line, I miss this one. Miss, right? Somehow. Okay. So now actually I don't have that much time to debug this one, and then the problem we'll face with the headers. I said I need to use somehow a little bit of JavaScript. So
I found the solution.
You found this one. Okay, what solution you found?
You need to create a span with the ID you are targeting just above the division, the anchor you're trying to get, and give it a top of the same height of the header bar. Yeah, that should do it.
I think that's a very smart way. It's good way.
I didn't come up with that. I just
it will work. But let's see what our friend says. The WC school, they have something also similar solution for us. So it says sticky header. If you can see it from distance, sticky header. If I scroll down, see this demo here. It says scroll down, right? If I scroll down, and my header is staying, right? I can scroll down and I can go on top, right? This one. So if I want to try this one, I need this try yourself window. So I can also see it here how it works, right? And this is the code. What the difference we have? We don't have this section. That's the difference we have, right? So somehow see how does it work. So I just removed let's remove everything, right? I don't know if I need it or not. So if I look at the HTML, and then I can see it's saying my header is here, right? So basically it has two things, class and ID, right? My header and then my header and my header. So for us, what is the class? We already have a class for it, neighbor, right? So we just can rename it to neighbor. So if I go on top my header, so I can copy. I don't know I need to copy or not, but anyway let's leave it. And then what I need here, ID. Just copy the ID first, see if it's do something for us, and see if there any styling for my header. No, nothing. So there's nothing, no style for my header. But if you look at this one, it says top container, right? So top container, if I go here, top container has something. So probably I need to copy this one and then put it on here, top container. And then I need a container div, maybe. And then wrap them in the container div. And then give a class copy paste. Let's see how it looks like. Okay, it looked like something but not sticky. Okay, for doing that, it says nothing, and it has some some more classes. Let's copy all of them. So I don't need to think what I need or what I don't need. So I just copy all of them and replace here. I can say sticky bar. Sticky bar. I just copy paste everything here, and then if you scroll down, scroll down, scroll down, scroll down, and there's something here, some script. So basically, this is a JavaScript language and some script here. I don't need to explain what is JavaScript now. Just believe on me and believe on the JavaScript school. Just copy paste. Don't have to think about it now. And it's always remember that they always put this script in the bottom of the page, meaning that just before the body. So follow the same thing like they did. So I just move into there. Okay. So if I refresh this thing now, I just did copy paste bottom of the script and all the styling, and I added a my header ID. Let's refresh. See, it's staying there. And if I click here, if I do this, it's not, still I don't solve the issue. See, I don't see the my skill. It's not going here, right? So I should do something at least. Sticky. And I'm opening the debugging window to see what change I need actually. If I click here, skills. So if you look at the skills section, if I give them more margin, more top, probably what will go? It will show, right? If I say 100 on top. But if I scroll down, see, it has more spaces now than before. So it's not a good solution. So probably we need to do something on the sticky. Continue. I don't need the unnecessary container styling here. So it's look like that, like before. Everything is working, but only problem, this is not giving me the header. Header is missing. So how to fix that? Any idea?
For me, I placed the ID over the LinkedIn icon instead of skills div.
Sorry?
I put the ID skills in this icon.
I just need to see how did I fix this thing. Okay. See here. So I'm again opening the debugging window and see my sticky header, what it has. So why it's overlapping my content. So if I click here and see the sticky header has some styling, right? Let's play with them. What is the styling it has? Sticky header plus it has something probably. Where is the padding? Okay, I don't need to. I don't know how to fix find the problem here. But anyway, margin to the fix. Hmm. Guys, I don't know why it's not working. Sorry about that, but give me just 1 minute more. I have to actually see.
Maybe there is sticky in the CSS class.
Hmm?
Like in CSS rules, you
Okay,
will sticky plus content.
yeah, I just removed that. Yeah.
Like
This
if you remove sticky from here.
No, I think I need that. It was working with my
Okay.
other code. But my confusion is why it's not showing this styling here.
Yeah, because it's sticky plus content.
Where's
And sticky is only the top bar, and content is like the other ones.
Let's see what the example says. Content is here, right? Content.
Did you try to read
Okay, guys, I will find out later. Okay, I don't want to spend more time on it. So anyway,
You want us to try the other one that I found?
yeah, probably we can try, but I will have something, some more or less topic to cover. Probably we'll try later. Okay. So now I'm handing over to you, Svetlana, to start working on the next slide,
Yes.
which is the form. Okay.
Yeah. So I'm going to send this zip file.
Just let me give you
again.
the folder.
Yes, thank you
So
so much.
I can write it down
Yeah, just if I can just in a finder, if I could just copy and send the zip file.
It's here. These are the two folders.
Yes. So, like the last time, I'm going to share something for you from the. Yes, it's here. It's gonna look like Abbott sent it, but that's me. Just know that. So there is week 3 forms exercise. Please unzip it also, and you can, if you want, you can follow along with that. So yeah, sorry for not putting it on GitHub. I think yeah, it would be better if it was uniform way, but I just didn't think about it. But it's the same thing. You basically unzip it just like you do with downloads from GitHub. And just in the meantime, I'm also going to find it somewhere. Open. So that's, I believe it's here. Or yes. Yeah. Thanks.
let's open everything.
Everything. Maybe it's good. I think it can handle it. But yes, super. Yes, thank you very much. Okay, and can you see everything fine from back there? Yeah, good. And I'm just going to open it also in Finder. I think it's this one. And just as usual, just to see, yeah, so it doesn't have any images in it or something. So that's not that's the basic that we will add on later. So as maybe, yeah, we can show it again. So we want to create something like that that form here. Because the forms is actually like something really important that will be even more important when you start JavaScript. Because right now what is happening is that we are going from basically just showing the unchanged content like you do now. So it's basically a landing page that you're building, which is also already pretty useful because you could see like a lot of internet like made like that now. So, but usually it's, you cannot just get away with that because people like to responsive things, they like interact with things, send things, and so you would need, and JavaScript handles this kind of stuff, like this kind of. But in order to pass like information to JavaScript to process and like to show the page accordingly, you would need some inputs, like something that can you provide the information with, and those are forms. So let's just maybe jump right in and start programming this form together. So form is, yes, sorry. As usual, I don't know.
You just write form.
Yes.
And
Okay.
hit
Yes.
tab.
I just. Where is this? Where is that? Those kind of brackets. Yes. Thank you. Okay. It's me learning Danish layout again, as you remember. So the form, the default would give you some action as well, which I'm going to remove just now because it's not like you will deal with it a lot. And form object is a little bit more complex that we will show, but just in order to style it, like we just work with it like that. So form, pretty like nice and simple. If you refresh the page, you would see that nothing has changed. So I'm not even going to do that. And let's jump right ahead and try to, and let's type our input. So the things where you try to put things in called inputs, and they can have different types. And so I'm going to give it type text, which is like basically going to give you pretty basic input text image. And also for the purpose of later, so right now we won't need it right away, like this name attribute. Sorry, yes, but we will need it later for like more extensive manipulation with forms. And usually like all your input fields should have names, because that's how you figure out what it was. Like, was it the name that user put in, was it the email or whatever. So I'm just going to give it a name. Yeah, it just happened to be name because I want username. So that's it. And let's just try to jump right ahead and refresh the page. And here, so wait, why? No? Did I do anything right? Did I save it? Yes, I did. Was it the same one?
Because you didn't open from this folder, you opened
Ah,
from,
right, I opened from the other one.
Download.
Yes,
things.
can you please find it, the one that I should open there? Yeah, with 3. So you probably already see it better than me. Yes, here it is. So you can see that there is this little input here. So let's just jump and build some more. That's the beginning of our form. So I'm just going to be here. So everything needs so this is for our sake. Now we show the name, we know it's a name. But now I want to show also the label. It's something that user would say, and it's a good practice to also put for. So for means for which field you like put in this label, and I'm just going to do like that. So like that, and let's see how it behaves. And yeah, that's like name, and that has an input there, so that's pretty easy. So that's like the HTML part of forms is pretty easy. You just don't need to like to know too much. So I'm just going to copy it a few times. So except like for name, I want also to user put in there like company with their work. and it means that I want to keep the type text because I want this input to look like that, but I want to change the name to call it like company, and this label should also belong to a company. And then I'm going to do something else. So there is also different types except for text. I'm going to call this one email, which is fairly new type. So it would look like a normal input, like a normal text field, but the thing is it has built-in validation in it. So if users try to put in something that doesn't look like email and doesn't contain ads and all these things, that'll just give an error at some point, but we're not gonna see it now. So let's see how it looks like now with our 3 fields. So yeah, you can see that it just placed next to one another, name, company, email. So I'm going to give it 2 more input fields. One would be the phone number, so I can contact them back, and I'll just call it phone. So I'll put the name. So remember, like this for label and name for input should be the same kind of identification. So this is going to be phone, and type would still be text. Like I didn't use anything special for that. It's just text. Cool. So the next thing I'm going to add is something else. Like sometimes you want if your input to not be just like this one small line, one small input, but actually you want to type more things in it. So it's called text area. You can see it's already gave it something, so I'm just going to remove a bunch of stuff. So it's called it basically gives you a pretty big it gives you like this large text area where you can have more things put in. So let's call it message. That will be message here, and the name of text area will be message. And let's see how it looks like now with all these fields. Yeah, so you can see that message is different. It's the one that actually can be like typed in, like it's a lot of stuff in it, and you can like type in and all that. So that's that's just nicer to if you need some larger input than that. And so this form is like it has all the fields that we want, and the last thing that form needs is a button, like to click on it and to submit your information. And so that one we already saw. You used it in your tasks a lot, so that's button, and I'll just call it submit. So that should be it for our HTML page. Where's button? A button. What's happening now?
This looks like coming from.
How can it's like it's just this? Yeah. I'm not sure what went wrong in this case. Yes. Oh,
Something.
what did I do? Did you have it as well, or you can see submit button?
The browser
fine?
has problems. Okay.
Okay. Yes.
It's
No.
just
Okay, that's good. So just
some browser issue. Yeah.
hiccup here. So that's the submit button. So here's our form, and it's fine, but it's maybe functional now. But one thing to notice is really, really ugly. So let's not let's fix it a little bit. So first thing I'm going to do is that I'm going to give a kind of I want to put all my things to paragraph tag, because I want all the fields to be in line, like one on top of each other. So I'm just putting that putting that in and kind of copying it around. So I'm just putting I'm enclosing each one in this paragraph tag. So just for them to be inlined, and the button as well. So I'm just closing this one here. And here's this view. What was it? Like the beautify thingy?
Okay. Is it a Control Shift? Command Shift?
Yes. Command Shift B. Yeah.
And then this enter.
Yes. Super. So that looks nice as well. So it's gonna be, I think it's going to be a little bit better. So yeah, something like that. Okay. So I think now we can, it already looks a little bit better, but I don't want it to be like that on my website still. So let's go to change, let's go to our style CSS and start changing this one. So first thing I want to do is I want to give my, like I only want to modify the form that is in contact field, and so there is label. I want the label to be in the separate line, each of those. So how would you put, if you want label to be on the separate line, what would you use?
Yeah. Great.
Yeah, so you would, so one way is to insert BR in after each element here, which I think it's a little bit messy, like in order if I want to switch it back and forth, it would be hard to find all these BRs and remove them from text. So I would prefer just using CSS for that. Yeah, so one thing to do that is using this display block thing that we already met, and I think that's going to do that. Yeah, so it's something like that. So it's just because block is, again, display block is something that takes up the whole row if it has a chance. So it just took up the whole row. Good, but also I think that there is no need for those for this like little, for our things to be like, to take that like not so much space, because we have a huge page there, and always like, since if you need to put a lot of information, you also need to utilize space a lot. So never, like if you have this empty space, just use it all. Put the width, let it show on all the devices, like just that bright. So, and for that, I'm also going to set up this. I'm only going to change this form, and I want my inputs to be like that. Yeah. So I want my yes.
Control
Which
shift.
one? Control.
No, Alt Shift.
Alt Shift 8. Nice. Beautiful. So I'm going to give it a proper width, 100%. So to let it take everything. Yeah, good. But we forgot something. We also have the text area and the button, and I don't want to duplicate anything. So I hope you, like, I think you remember that that thing that if we want to give some elements the same style, we just do comma separate them. And so if I want to do again, I want to use only contact form, and then I want to have a text area, like I want text area to behave also the same like input, like in terms of width. And I just put it comma separated, and it did it. So this one is also like the long one. And I want the same for the button, so no difference here. I'm just going to copy this common thing and put the button. Yes, and that's gonna do it. Okay, a little bit also. I think we need to increase. Like I think it's a little bit narrow what we have now. So maybe I want to give it some padding. Padding. Let's give it some other like yeah. So it depends on the font size. So okay, I actually do like it much better, and I'd like it to all, like I think that submit button looks a little bit funny, so I'd like it to be something else. Yeah, let's maybe style the submit button a little bit. So I want to take just the button. I don't want anything else to be changed. And I'm putting the button in, and I'll go to 8. And so here I want the background color, and let it match our you know, our orange thingy. It's even in drop down here. So let's do it like that. And nice. Yes, I think that's prettiest. But I think font can be larger, and it actually could be maybe 8. We can set it. I don't know, 40 pixels. What it is now. 8 would be nice. And text itself, I think I want it white. But since we are not using, I don't want to use the yes, I don't want to use white keyword anymore, so I'm just going to give it this hex code and see how that works. And it's too small. Font height, yes. Font size. Let's do font size. I think it can be even bigger than that, the button itself. And I want the font size. And what should it be? Like 20 pixels? Is it big? Let's check out. And our favorite text transform. Yes, to uppercase. I think that's a very nice thing. So let's see. Yeah, okay, that's nice. So you can actually see that that's not too bad already for some reason, like it's pretty good. So, but the thing is, when I actually see it, like button is like not reacting to my actions. Since we like it has this kind of ugly default button, it had one good thing that it actually reacted when we hovered over it and clicked on it and stuff like that. Yes.
Is it possible the area where we are going to give input can be flexible?
Totally. Yes, it's going to be like just the next thing we're going to be. So it's we're going to design like actually the form how it looks like. So, but first I want to fix that button because it's not responsive. It doesn't like me. It doesn't like it's kind of gives something, but not really much. Yes, so it's a little bit of a noise. So I'm going to use, I think, like any ideas how I can make a button react to my actions, like by changing its style?
Using JavaScript?
No, I mean like CSS, like everything you already know.
Like hover.
Hover, yes, exactly. So let's just use some hover. I'm going to copy that design and put it on hover here, and let's give it some other background color. Yes. So, and let's make it like this kind of grayish. How was it? Will it be fine? And maybe in this case we would like our text color to be black, which is like what's black? It's like 000 or something.
0, yes.
Yes. So let's see.
666.
Or yeah, maybe it's better to be like yes, 666. That's scary, but that's fine. So let's see. So that's the same. Yeah. So we kind of when we hover, it just jumps to being like white. Don't think I like it white. Maybe more grayish. I'll choose. Let me just try the color picker. See. So yes. So I'll just. Yeah, maybe just so we can distinguish it from the outside. I'll just give it the little background and yeah, I think that's understandable. Okay, so that's already like looks okay. I think I would not be like horrified by seeing. I think yeah, it's pretty okay. So now we're going to learn. We're going to touch, kind of not really learn in all details, but kind of try to use CSS grids in order to conveniently style our form. And so, like since you all like such a like fluent in Flexbox and all that, so just advertising another CSS grid garden game from the same guys, which is also pretty cool. Anybody tried it already? I know Krishna did. Yes.
I used it in the.
You used it in homework. Yes, great. So yeah, so it's gonna be, and it worked, and it's nice, and it's actually pretty convenient to use. So actually, since you already like, can you please try to help me, like in order if we would want to style our form, first of all, what would be the kind of container element for our
we have to take the
CSS
main
grid?
container.
Yeah. Which one? So you think about taking like this big container?
Actually, I know about the grid and you put photographs in it, but I don't know about the form. Because it's different from, because photographs are different, individual.
Yes.
And then you take one row and then it creates column.
Mm-hmm.
Because the grid is two-dimensional. When you change the width of the screen, it automatically shifts and fixes according to the screen.
Okay.
But I don't know about the form.
Mm-hmm.
I know according to the photographs.
Okay, let's see how it works. So first, but like this part is not going to be different from the working with photographs. So what do you think? Like,
so you need to take a main container.
Yeah.
And then you take another div which will be a row, and then you will take columns.
Okay, let's see. Let's start with that. So with every time when we work with display, when we use display flex, it was before. Now it's going to be like display grid and stuff. So we need certain like placeholder container which would style all its children, and I choose this placeholder container to be form, because everything that's inside it's supposed to become the object that will be manipulated. Then we can arrange them conveniently. So I'm just going to take this contact form and name it CSS grid. So let's say display, and it's the same. It's like the same principle as with Flex. You kind of make it CSS grid by saying display grid. Good. So just as with so now we need some properties. So what I want to grid, like CSS grid, is something exactly like you said, that Flexbox is kind of like one-dimensional, so it kind of deals with rows and saying how to align like them and stuff like that. So CSS grid, you actually have this kind of, you build the kind of grid and then you place the objects on that grid. I hope it will make sense in a second. So first we want to say how many columns we're going to have. So that's called grid template columns. Hi. And so I want to have 2 columns, and it's how it's designed in CSS grid is that you take you announce like how much space each column should take. So for example, I want to create 2 columns of the same size, like 2 columns which are like equal to each other. So it's done with this measurement called fraction. Like, so I would say 1 fraction and 1 fraction. So that's let's see what happened here. So I think that should already do something nice. Okay, so what happened here is that our form element got this column template, and how it places that, you could see that it places element first column, second column, first column, second column, first column, second column, and it basically like arranges them according to the like placeholders you did, and it just kind of repeats like that. There is also, like, you can see that they are all very tied to each other here. So there is also, just like in Flexbox, there is this grid gap. So guys, it may seem a little bit confusing now if you never saw CSS grid before, but I don't think we need to go through it in many more details in class, because I think the best thing for you would be to play that game, try it to yourself, and that would give you more freedom in doing that. But I guess the same, like, kind of the main principle you already
you can control
know from.
it by HTML also, and you can control it by using CSS also. So it depends what you want.
Yeah.
It depends on the context.
Yes, yes. So here, yes. So now we're doing kind of pure. So I just gave it this grid gap property, which is like 20 pixels. So, and it means exactly what you think it means. It just gave it a little gap in between. So that's okay. And actually, I don't like it's kind of spaced a lot here. I just want to give less margin to our, like, if you remember, we have these paragraphs here which have their default behavior. I want to eliminate that. So I'm just going to be like contact form P, and yes, and just give it margin of 0. I hope it's gonna help. It's kind of too much space. Yeah, much nicer. So it's already, see, it's it's now we can manipulate them quite conveniently. So what would, just to demonstrate the behavior of the CSS grid, like just explain this fraction term. So what would happen if I put it like that? Who can guess?
The second column could be half size.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Half.
Not quite like half, but yeah, something.
Like 3 parts, and like one will get 2 and one will get 1.
Okay, let's take a look. So it's 1, and then it's 2 here, and like if I, so it's So this one is 1 fraction and this one is 2 fractions. So meaning it like 1 and this is why like this multiplied by 2, like 1 and 2. So that's how you can do that. Yes, and of course it's like behaves like that, so it works on any screen size. So it wouldn't rearrange elements right now. It's not what it does because it's, you know, our elements are pretty flexible because.
But
yes.
If you watch it on mobile, see, then it will be very thin. So
very
it should
thin.
Go down.
Yeah. Yes. But I think actually mobile.
So row will convert into column.
Yeah. Yes. That's what you want to see, or that's
no,
what?
That will be controlled by CSS.
Yes, so that would be controlled by media query, I guess, right? Because we could make, I think, by media query, what we can do in this case, if you want to place them all under another, then you would just give it a...
Like we did with the photograph.
Yeah, you would just give it like... Yeah, you would just give it 1 column instead of 2 or something like that. Or remove, you know, you could remove the grid altogether because you can...
So grid will be used under the flex, inside the flex box, so it will automatically wrap inside it.
Okay. So, yes, so I'm going back to one-to-one because it looked nice, but what I want to achieve as well is that I want my message and the button to take all the space, because message is a big field and I think it needs more space. And submit buttons are always nice if they're like long like that, like we saw before. So I think I'll just going to, so I'm just going to make it. But we want some same behavior for message and like kind of submit button. So what I'm going to do, if I want to give them the same class, and I call this class like full, meaning that it will take the full line. So I'm taking the class full in this as well. Nothing will change yet, of course, because we didn't change anything. But now we can work with our full class. And now what we will use, it's like the very cool property of grids, of CSS grids. It's like something called grid column start and grid column end. So those who worked with it already know that it has shortcuts that you can write it all in one line. We're not going to do that. We're just going to, that's what we're going to look at. So it basically tells you where to, like, how many columns your element should take. And we wanted to take 2 columns. So I'm going to have grid column starts at 1, meaning it starts at the first column, but that's what we already see happening. And so then I'm going to put it grid column end. And there is a little trick, like you want to put like 2, meaning that it ends on the second column, but how it works is that you should give it 2 plus 1. Like you should see that it doesn't enter that column. That's how you should say. Like grid column end doesn't mean the last column of the element. It means the element to which, like it means column to which element cannot go anymore. Like the wall. So it's going to be 3 exactly. So and let's see what happened if that worked. So yes, exactly. So see, like just like that. So I said that those elements just placed like they placed, but this element starts at column 1 and kind of ends on column 3, even though we don't have the column 3 really, but it's still like it took everything up to imaginary column 3. I hope that makes sense. Okay, that's I like that actually. I think that's already nice. Yeah.
Have to be with this width.
You do like less width?
No, it's based on design.
It's just like you.
Yeah.
Small.
Yeah.
Yes.
But nowadays it's bigger like this one to be responsive with any
Yeah,
device.
exactly. Because like, can you imagine that if you work with mobile device and it's like that, and you want with your finger, like, you know, I have like clumsy fat finger and I want to press it there, and so it's like, it's better if your button is bigger, then you can locate it everywhere.
So you need to, if I change the size to 30%,
Yeah.
30%, for example,
Yeah.
it's not responsive. It will be not responsive.
Ah, you mean like what would happen with grid properties and stuff, like how it would be placed? Well, the best way to do is to find out, is to try. So I'm going to just give it a width of 30%, just like you asked, and see what it does to that. So what it does to that? It didn't place it in the center because that's not what we asked it to do. Like it wasn't like place it in the center between first and second column. Our request was start at the first column and continue until column 3. But since it's only 30%, it's like, yeah, I started, I continued, that's it. Like, because it still takes the whole kind of column.
Can we center it?
I don't know. Actually, I don't remember how it's done in CSS grids, but I suspect that margin auto should have something to do with it, and it can help us.
Yeah.
Yes.
Left and right auto, I think.
Okay.
Margin
What?
left, margin
Yeah,
right.
margin because yeah. So I think I'll try.
Margin left, margin right.
So margin left and margin right
Position
could be
fixed.
set to auto. So it just basically gives it everything, like kind of this auto touch.
Margin left, margin right.
No, okay.
Justify self.
Sorry?
Justify self.
Justify self?
Yeah.
It's also CSS grid property, it also
Yeah,
works like that. Okay, so I can just give it to the button, yes? That's good. Let's see. Justify self, center, things.
I think this will be in
Should it be in... it's because it's not a button, I think. It's because that's this P property.
It's
Yes.
not a code here.
Margin left, margin right.
Wait. So, wait, we gave it to this maybe full thing. Let me just check this out.
Yes,
So
the
big.
white color here.
Okay, something interesting happened. Can you see that? So I just gave it to the... Interesting. Actually, I don't know why I did that.
You can start from column 2. You can just start column and start like you have done before. Start from second column.
Yeah, but we still we kind of still do that. See, it's like we didn't change it here. Yes.
The code is in white. The code shouldn't be blue.
Yeah.
as the other
It's not the property.
Sil-
I don't know. But it changed something, so it did work.
Okay.
It's white, so it's not its property.
Can I just debug? So you
Yes.
just write a border here. See how is the size border.
Yeah, sure. Yes. So let's see. Let's set it to this our like the thing that helps us. Let's do it even 2 pixels and like solid red, which we never should use, as you remember, and just to see how it looks like. But that's great that you know how to do
So
stuff.
it's
So
taking the
that's
entire thing, right?
that's taking the entire thing. And now, what if we say justify, just like we mentioned?
No.
No.
Probably,
When do
I
you
don't
want
know,
to
probably,
sit? Yes.
let's say, text align, center.
But that's not what we want. Like the whole. Okay.
So remove the border now.
Yes.
Okay.
So it's To be honest, I don't know why text align moved the color as well.
No,
But
text,
it's
text
happened.
align. See, if I debug it, say here. So you see, this is a container, right? And this container contains something. It shouldn't be text. It can be anything, text, image, or anything. So if you want to move it to something to center, it's a text align, make it center. But if you want to move it to the height center, then it's a vertical align center. The two things. So this button, probably it's a button, it's a text, it's an image, I don't know. So this contain in this div or p tag. So p tag has this information, and if you want to make them center, p tag can have a text, can have a different thing, like HTML. You can write a lot of text as well. So everything should be in center. Mm-hmm. So it can take, p tag can contain image, text, whatever you like.
It's still responsive.
Yeah, it is responsive. But the thing you have asked, for instance, I say, okay, this is a small button, but whenever my device is small, so I want to show them, for instance, I want to show the button like before, the text should take full, so you can use media query. So media query, if the screen size is this, then we use 100%, not the.
Yes.
So we can change the.
We
class.
can do it actually right now. We can set
That's
this
another
up.
thing, but
But we
topic
can
here is the
also-
form and form element.
Yes. So the thing is that form elements themselves are not very tricky to change and stuff like that. So just to to practice CSS grids a bit more and also to make it look more like on the example, like that was all like very nice. I'm just going to remove the what we built here with width and maybe the text line, just so our message still has this thing. But that was all very good point, which is very like helpful. So let's just do like that. And just thing that I want to achieve now is that I think that looks like, actually that layout, I think it's really cool for mobile devices. If you just take a look, because it looks kind of like you hold it, it's like on top, it's pretty nice. So what we actually, because usually what we did is that we built something nice for like desktop devices, and then we changed the media query to be for mobile. But now we're going to do it kind of other way around. So let's say that if the width is small, then screen is small, that let's keep it like mobile way. And if the width is high, then let's change it. So can anybody help me with how to do that with media queries? Sorry, what did you say? Who says? Sorry, media query. So let's start typing that.
If
Where's
the
it?
pixels is 600, it should be this size. If it's 1000 pixels, it should be this size.
Yes. Yes. So media, was it like only screen and so what should we put in here? Like usually we used to put max height. Row. Okay. Any other ideas?
For container.
Depends on the what size you want.
Yes. So usually what we did, like when you worked with media queries before, what did you put in? Like it was
Screen size.
it was max width. And
Depends on like how do you want to go, like you want to go mobile first or like
yes.
you want to go laptop first.
Yes, and now we want to kind of do the other way around. So we don't want to use max, we want to use min width. Yes, and let's put 600 pixels, and let's do it like that. All right. Let's test it. Let's test it out. So let's just do for our contact form. I'm just testing it. So I'm just going to put the display none to see if it did something, if our media query actually worked. So I'm replacing, it did something, and what should now happen is that when the screen is small, then it appears. That's also a solution, just don't show it if it doesn't look nice. Okay, that can work. Maybe that's not what our employers want for some reason, so let's try to style it differently. So I want to, what I want to do is to take this, I think it would look nicer if I, okay, let's refresh it. Yes. So did I save it? No, maybe not. Yes. So here, what I want to do on such big screens, I think we can just take this top header because it's kind of very wide and doesn't contain so much information. Just place it on the side and let our form take all the attention there. So that's maybe any suggestions from your side what you would use to do that? We could, I was planning to use CSS grids. You can help me to do that, or you can maybe have your own suggestions as well. I think that would be nice.
Size of the row.
Size of the, change that or, okay.
Disappear like it did with the photograph.
You won't just disappear it. Okay, just remove it if it's there. But I still want that to be present on the screen. I don't want it to be gone. I want people to know my address. This is, by the way, the Queen's Palace address and Queen's phone number, if you're wondering. So that's just that. So you can call that number. I guess somebody will reply also. But yes, okay. Let's try to use CSS Grid for that purpose. And I'm just going to describe with words what my plan is, how I'm going to use CSS Grids, and we can all work on it together. So I want to put the CSS Grid I don't want to, this inside form, CSS grid, it's already a grid and we're not going to touch that. We want to create a new grid on the one that would have this contact bar and the form container also, that would have this orange place and this kind of white place as its children. So that would be our like placeholder container element. So which, like if you look at HTML here, which element should I use then? Which element should be my, mother grid element? Any ideas? Like the one we are looking, like if we wanted to place the elements in the form, those were like the children's, and this was the kind of mother element.
Contact.
Okay, yes. Okay, contact. So, but contact only contains form, right? And we want this orange place is actually in form.
Info, yeah.
So this is first child, and this is the second child. So what would be the common parent of those two elements?
Contact. No, info.
Container?
Okay, container is one, but the closer is like this wrapper guy. So I think I'll try to use the wrapper, because you see that this is the kind of mother element, and it has these two children, info and contact, and they're just like immediate children of that. And so it means that wrapper is the one that we should use for our CSS grid. Sorry, do you have a question? You can also ask, just ask.
So it's same
No.
as the Flexbox.
It's kind of, yes, it's very like it, especially in this use case, it looks pretty similar to Flexbox. But what's the main like different here is like this thing with where we started in one column and ended at the other. I don't think Flexbox maybe like lets you do just like that. So maybe that's a little bit different, but it's pretty similar. So you could actually see that the use cases for that are overlapping. So anyway, if we try to use our wrapper, now I'm going to have a wrapper and make it a grid, and I want to give it I want it to have the same, like I want to take this column template, and so let's see what happens if we put, so it's now contains two columns. And it's happened with this mother template. So that actually did work fine. So did you understand what happened now? So we had this wrapper elements with two children. Before they were like block elements placed like one on top of each other. We made it column, and it just kind of, and now one in one column, one in another column. Pretty easy, and it means also we didn't touch also, see now we have like CSS grid inside CSS grid, which are completely independent in their properties. So everything we're going to do with that like orange, white areas, they are not going to affect our columns elements at all also. So just like as a last touch, I'm going to give it just like we discussed, I'm going to resize them. So this one should be smaller than the other one. So this should have this second kind of second fraction thingy. So yeah, 30, I think that's okay. Yeah. Yes, let's see what happens. So what would happen if I make the screen small again? So let's maybe too small. Okay. So here's now like here we have a grid and here we don't. So here our grid is gone, and they're again just two independent block elements, and they are being placed on top of each other. And so I think that's okay. Yeah, maybe we could, I don't know, I just give it a little bit of, I think this text looks better if it's oriented to the left. So, but that's already like kind of, yeah, you could just do whatever you want here. So I'm just going to take this info and try to align the text to the left. Yes. No, not like that. Okay, maybe we can take the individual headers. So there is like H2 and UL. I'll just do it like that. So H2, and also like remember that commas are also pretty good. Please use them, because you don't have to copy paste like multiple styles if they're like if the same style would apply to different elements. So maybe like that. Yeah, I don't know. I think that looks nicer. So that's basically it. So you can see that that's I think that's a pretty nice form right now. And we have just 10 minutes. I think that's great, just enough. So I'm going to also, since we are touching, like, you are basically all ready to make all this, static pages, and you are going now to this dynamic world of like JavaScript and changing the content of the page on the fly. So we're also going to just check a little bit of JavaScript. Not like you don't. I'm going to copy some code to the Slack channel, but it doesn't mean you have to like understand it or something, or like know exactly what it's doing, but just to demonstrate the feature of what it can do. So I think I have it. I made it already before. Yeah, that was that. Yes, I'm just going to open one file. This one with the final code. And it has this this script, and I'm just going. It's a very long. It's kind of a long piece of of JavaScript, which we can do. But for those who was following it, like typing it in, I think it's also would be nice if you type that in.
Can you also?
Yes. Code snippet.
Code
yes.
snippet. That's
yes.
better.
Thank you. Yes. So we don't. So usually we do like that. And I copied, with these script tags, there is something called function here. And please, please go there if you've been following the code. I think it's good also if you just copy that and place it in the, like the good idea is to place it after the body tag or something, right? That would be the recommended way. So let's try to do it together with me. So I'm copying this script tag. And it's already, actually, I think it looks very similar to what you already saw when we just started to learn CSS. There, do you remember what are the 3 ways to put CSS to the file?
Blog inline and separate files.
Yes, and so the second one was actually putting it like in the same file, but not like in its own place.
But it is always advised to have a separate JavaScript file, because when the web crawler or web spider reads the HTML document, it affects the semantic structure of the HTML document.
Yes.
And becomes difficult for the when you want the web page to be at the top, then you will not get the priority.
Yeah.
Because
Yes.
it will only select those pages which are semantically designed correctly, and have passed the validation test. So this is a drawback.
Yes, exactly. So it's very good. Like the good practice is to keep all this. Like you have now you have all the 3 components of your place. It's like HTML, which is structure, CSS, which is styling, and JavaScript, which is logic. And they should be like, it's nicer to work with, and it's much better for also the computers to read it, like if it's in separate files. Right now I just place it in the file, but it's not like, it's just like we would place the CSS in the same file. It's not as nice. We just do it so we can just check it out quickly. So that's this. So the script tag basically means that what's inside that is like executable and it can work. So, but right now what's happening here, it's not really connected to anything. It's basically defined a function which you don't have to know what it is, and that's something you will learn next class. And I'm just going to demonstrate what it does by also. I want to do it like it's also different ways how you can make it, like how you can run your functions in JavaScript code. I'm choosing this one. It doesn't mean it's like the only one or the most right one. It's just something I want to do. So basically, if you click, on click means if I click on the button, this function will execute, and everything that all the logic that I described here will execute, which we will see in the action for a second. Just so we could see it better, what, I think we can already take a look at what happened, if I did everything correct or not. So I'm just refreshing my contact form. Something happened, so I just remove a few things here, just to make sure. I'm going to type something in. Okay, the text is really small. I'm not sure if we can do something about it, programmatically or something, but that's... Yes, I think that's, that's okay. That's not important right now. And then I click submit. Okay, something actually, maybe... Okay, something, you could see that something happened and then it kind of immediately disappeared. So it just means what? Okay, sorry, let me check what I did in that form before. So type button. Yeah, I don't know. Let's see if that's something that works. Because it's, I think, okay, let me just try that, because I remember it was something because usually you do often want to refresh the page when you click on it. That's why it was made like this, but not in our case. So yeah, it was that. It was just something stupid. So I'm typing something in. I'm not typing anything in email. You know why? Because if you do like, I know, okay, I don't know. It was supposed to check my email, but it didn't, and we can debug it later. But you can see that whatever I type, then I press a button and it gets added to the page, and it gets added with this code that we just pasted here. We will go like the important, like let's just. It's not like we won't go, you know, you don't have to understand everything that's happening and why it's called like that, what those means, but just roughly you can actually kind of read it already. So let's see. So we have certain thing that is called form data, and we want it to be like, we want to collect the data from the form that we have on the page. Usually if you want to take some data from the page, you use this document object. Well, notice that here I use the pure JavaScript, like the very basic JavaScript. We will use, you mentioned jQuery and stuff. It's something that's like more advanced library to manipulate web pages in more convenient way. But right now we're not talking about it, not introducing it. So that's a very, very plain JavaScript, which is also pretty powerful in a sense. You can do a lot of things. So it's document means my page, my whole HTML, and query selector, it's something that selects an element, and I just want to select an element with a tag form. That's how you do it. You can also pass it classes and IDs, just like you do with CSS, you just use it in JavaScript.
Here, is it an argument or parameter form?
It's argument for the here. So, and then you kind of put, so now form data is a called variable, and it contains the data from our form. And here, okay, here is like, I'm not sure, some of you already, I'm sure, familiar with like loops in programming and stuff, and you use them. So you can kind of figure out what it does here. Some of you maybe not, which is okay, since you will learn it next week anyway. So, but it's just quite a common way. You would probably build such thing yourself soon, because you will be like going through certain amount of objects. So right now we're going through every field of the form and collecting collecting the information to one place, which is in this sense like this element thing. And then we have another manipulation on the page, which is we have our page, and we create a new element. We create new div element. So we created. So if you take a look at our page with inspect, just like we did before, because that's very interesting. So it doesn't like the elements that are created with this. The elements that are created with JavaScript are just as good as elements that you typed in yourself. They have no different, like after they're rendered, it's no different. So it's not like it's not less important or something. It's still there, and you can still work with it just like you would do with any other thing. So you could see that basically what it does is that after every click, it collects the data from your form, creates a div which has all this information, and just places it under the form. Sorry? Sorry? Array? Yes. So there is array. Yes. So this is array. Actually, form data entries is an array, which we iterate of. And then you can change the div. I just see that why it has the class name card, because I just gave it class name card. And then I just added to the body. So you can manipulate, like document has a body, just like our HTML body tag. And you can append child, and then you append your element. So that's pretty. You can see that even if you don't do any JavaScript yet, you can still kind of figure what it does. That's good. That's like that. So just one last touch, I'm just going to take this to make it more obvious. Like there's this little CSS that I already made for the for our forms, because like the thing is that you created it with JavaScript, but you can still manipulate it normally. So I'm just going to use this card class to be able to style the newly added objects on my form. So I'm first of all, for those of you who is typing, I'm just copy pasting this snippet here just quickly. Yes. And you can place it in to a CSS file and work with it. So it's just the last touch. So I type things in, and submit, and then I create certain card. I can just keep pressing it, like it didn't refresh the page, so there's data is still there, and then I can just do it like that, and it will just create all this, all these cards. And that's, yeah.
We are giving the input and we are also reading it.
Yes. So right now it's not like it's usually, of course, when you put something to the forms on internet, it's not like it's popping out back at you or something. Yes, but now, yes, exactly. Usually what's happening is that you get this information, you collect this information also with this very similar manner as with this, as we just did with this JavaScript thing. So we just use our JavaScript but maybe we would probably do something like that still. We would still want to have our form data, but usually what happens is that there is a server sitting somewhere and waiting for our data to come. And then we just take the data and send them over the network to the server. And that's something you will also, of course, learn to do. And what the server usually does, it takes it and it places to a database to have it persistently. So all your data will be kept forever forever in that database. And then not like here, if we refresh the page, that everything is gone.
Can we substitute database with the cloud?
Cloud is still a database, that's the thing. So cloud is also a database. It's just a database that you are not hosting yourself. So it's not like you cannot avoid them completely. You will still need to know what they are. It's just you don't have to keep them on your computer. They are kept on the computer in Google, or whatever. So that's the same thing, basically. It's just where they are placed. So that's basically it. And I will share this final snippet here. But yes, and here you can see how important it is also to be able to have this, flex elements, grid elements. Why will spend time on that? Because you cannot predict how many elements you're going to have. So you cannot put this one here and that one there and give it like width of 60% or 300 pixels. It's not always because you need to work with any number of those, any sizes, anything. So that's why people invented all this flexible grid kind of style containers. Yeah, good. Thank you.
Thank you.
So do you want to talk about homework? Yes.
Is it too much for you guys? Okay, let's make it simple. That's fine. So very nice introduction to this grid and JavaScript. But you don't have to worry about JavaScript at the moment. We'll take care from next week. So that's why we sort of designed the homework a bit light in this week. You don't have to do that much. Very little bit of CSS and HTML, and also rest of the time there's some reading materials for JavaScript, so you need to read them. So then when we go to next class, so we just understand a bit, catch in a nice manner. Okay, so I didn't thought of the homework, but let's create the homework now. So yeah, I think before that I found a problem about the sticky header. I want to give it one more try. Few seconds, 30 seconds, believe me. I think in here, if I'm not wrong, where I am. Super code. is the one. Yeah, probably this one. So I just need to give some more padding. Refresh. No, didn't work. Anyway, guys, I'm so giving up. Anyway, I'll fix it later. So the homework is so we managed to do the skills and portfolio section. Probably we can include the one that just we learned, the form section. So we add the form section here below down there. So it probably will look like this one. Take a screenshot. So here we have a div called class called homework, right? I don't know exactly. And then image from sorry, homework. Oh, I don't know. Anyway, so we just need to add this form here, right? You are getting the concept, I guess. So just use grid layout, the thing we learned, just add the form here. And there was one more small topic. It was like good to have in this CSS and HTML module, but we didn't have time to cover that one, which is Bootstrap. So do you know about the Bootstrap? So can you say something about the Bootstrap?
Third-party library you can use instead of CSS grid.
So instead of grid and things, right?
JavaScript.
We can do that, right? So basically, you can whoever have. So one thing is must. We need to improve this section here. Put a nice design here and then add the form. So that is the basic homework. Step 1 done. Then you don't have to anything. Oh yes, if you have some time, fix this issue, or I will share the code. Okay, what the problem was. Then done. And if you have extra time, so use the Bootstrap and use the Bootstrap design and try to fix this design. If you introduce Bootstrap, it will start breaking. So I can show you just quickly how it looks like. Sorry?
Where's the wrong thing here?
Okay, who can tell me why we are not using Bootstrap, why we are writing our own styling?
Because they have a different structure. HTML
Yes,
structure.
the first thing I can quickly say. So the way we write our styling, it's for learning. So, and if you want to write every styling CSS, or header and element, we are fixing everything, the padding, margin, everything. So it's too much work. And if we want to create more section, we need to maintain a lot. So Bootstrap is a library that have fixed all this problem, and they provide some basics design with the color and stuff, and you can modify them. So if I start using the Bootstrap and starting modifying, so we don't know actually what information we need to change and what is breaking and how can we fix that. So because of that, we started from the basic, from nowhere, and trying to use the property that we feel need.
After Bootstrap, one can still use CSS
Yes.
and modify that one.
Yes, that's true. So just to give a intro, what is Bootstrap about? Like I can quickly add this one. So to use Bootstrap, so I will give you the detailed guideline later in the email in the channel. All you need to do, copy this one and put it on the header. So it's a CSS file. That's why it's in header. And then if I copy the JavaScript links, and then JavaScript link should go in the bottom. That's it. Two things. Then it's all set up. And refresh. So it has the bootstrap design now. So see, the difference is now my site is broken. Do you see a more gap here than before? So I can show you again how it was different.
There is a property when you use your own CSS, you give something important, something, an explanation. So it will use your.
So it was looking like that. See, it has a gray background here and white background and this one. And as soon as I introduce the bootstrap, see, it is broken now, right? So it overrides my design. So basically, you just need to probably see if I remove my styling. Yeah, look like this. So basically, you need to fix this styling. So how to fix that? Body. Look at that. This style overwriting my style, which is style.css line number 1, background color, this color. I gave this background color, but it is overwriting by this background color white. So what you need to do? So basically, you define the bootstrap, copy on top of your file. So first we load the bootstrap and then we replace with our styling. Okay, let's do that. So now it has the colors. I think it's a quick fix. I didn't know that it's that easy. Yeah. And for instance, if I remove the bootstrap again, see my button. Can you see the button here? The button looks a bit weird, right? So if I use the bootstrap, it looks a bit different. And if you go to bootstrap, examples for something, documentation, you can say buttons. So I'm just copying one example to show what is bootstrap can do for us. For instance, about me download here. See the difference? So I defined a button and then it looks like this one, and this one has some blue color, and if I hover over, I don't know, you can see it, so the color change a little bit. So this is all I'm getting as a free bundle from Bootstrap. So it has everything. So now if you don't want to like the green color, so you can redefine your color in like you can override the color. For instance, this example to have the button from Bootstrap. So we define a button and then type button, that's fine, and the class is like btn and btn primary. So these are the Bootstrap default class. So if I don't like this button color blue, so we can go ahead and anywhere in our CSS file, so we can override the design. For instance, like this, primary, and then background color. Let's say this one. So it changes. Okay. So this is how you can override. And look at, and the difference between Bootstrap and my design. See, my button is like square bracket. It's square, right? The corner is square, and it has some rounded corner. Do you see the button looks much nicer than mine? It has a rounded corner. So all this kind of facility, everything is documented here. What you can get out of the Bootstrap. So everything is here. So to have this design, we just need to include the CSS file and then adjust our styling, just overriding them. I don't know I managed to explain or not, but it is a good long topic. We might spend 2 hours to explain what is Bootstrap and how can you use it. But it's 2 minutes and 5 minutes is not enough for explaining that. But anyway, so the homework is simple. So you just need to include the form element down below. Try yourself first. Don't copy from Svetlana's example.
Yeah, and it's good if
Give
you
a try.
use your own fields,
Yeah.
give a different layout and stuff like that. Just,
Give a try. If you can't, copy them. But important thing is that we need to fix this issue. See, it is overlapping. It doesn't have the space in between, like this one. It doesn't have this one. And also fix the the should be center and here and all the design it has in the contact form. And next class we'll start with the JavaScript. But
Your teacher?
I will teach with another teacher, and you're not continuing. Yeah. We'll go from very basic. You don't have to worry, but please try to give some time and invest some time reading the reading material. So it will be much easier if you introduce all the syntax. So you will be like you'll be lost. So it's better you just read. Don't have to understand. We will make you comfortable. Okay. Any question?
okay, give yourself a hand.
Yeah.
Congratulations with finishing the first
Yeah.
module. That's nice. And that was a very, very good start. Thank you for that. Like
Thank
it
you.
was very much 100% homework done, and like it's really, really nice to see.
So in the next JS class, we'll again use half an hour to visit your homework. And I don't know if I can have time. I'll prepare some quiz for you. Like the important things we learned from HTML, CSS, like grid, flexbox. How can you make them, grow them full width, or how can you have the, 2-column, or like she showed, the grid layout. So splitting them into 2 and 3. So probably I'll prepare some quiz, 10 questions or something, so we can revise the things we learned.
And play CSS Grid Garden. So we don't focus on chocolate this time, but still do that. That's a fun game as well.
Is there any